Hi everyone, it's Sam here. Thank you for watching today. So I'm going to show you how to put together the 5x7 slide and reveal set. So this is how the card looks when it's flat and you've got your space on the back there to be able to write your message. And then you just pull the sides and it will reveal your scene. I've used this lovely holographic cardstock on the frame, all that detail at the front, and then you've got the fish, the dolphin, the octopus, and then they stand and they're displayed like so. Really fun to make, so let me show you how. This is the 5x7 set. So you've got 7 dies here. First of all, you want to die cut your frame. So I've die cut this one here twice using 300 GSM white cardstock, and I've just stuck that together using the Collall all-purpose glue. So that's now nice and strong, and it's going to be able to, you know, handle the movement. So 2 of those, you've got a lovely stitch detail as well with that one. And then you want to cut yourself 2 of the side panels. So I've already started doing a bit of stenciling and I'm going to show you how to do that in a moment. But you can see here, there's the 2, and that's using this one here. Okay, so it would give you your score lines. I like to go over mine with my scoreboard and I'll do that in a moment. But you want 2 of that one. And then you've got your larger rectangle here. So I've die cut 1 in this design here, and that's from the paper pad, which I'll show you, and then 1 in just plain white, and that's going to go on the back for you to write your message. 2 of that one, and then I've cut 2 of these ones here, and these are the supports for the back. But also you might want to stamp and do some inky stuff on that. Maybe you've cut this in a blue, for example, and you want to have a stamped image on the side, then you can, you know, have these on the front, but then you'll also want some on the back. So 2 to 4 of those, depending on how you're putting it together. And then you'll want 2 to 5 of the strips here. So this is the bar that everything can kind of attach to, and you know, you build your scene. I've been cutting all of mine in acetate because of the themed cards. These are under the water, so I want all of the creatures to look like they're floating and swimming around in the sea. But depending on what you're doing, this could be cardstock as well. But the acetate cuts really nicely, especially if you've got a chrome precision plate with the big shot. It's yeah, just cuts them perfectly. Otherwise, if they cut, you at least get the outline, and they're easy to then cut around with scissors if you want to use the acetate. And then you want 2 of these ones here. So this is this die. And then you want 4 of these strips here. So you just want to pass that one through. So you've got 4 of the strips. Okay, so that's all the pieces you need. So first of all, we're going to start off with some stenciling. So we want these pieces here. So there's 2 stencils in the collection. You've got Under the Sea and you've got Riding the Waves, and that's the one that I'm using today. So you can flip these over. So I've already, like I said, decorated this one here. So I've got my palm tree there and the rocks and a little bit of the ocean. So I want to decorate this one, so I need to flip my stencil. So we're flipping that, but before we do that, I'll just show you just to pop the score lines in this one here. So you'll see them there. I mean, you can fold them, you can see the lines, but I always like to just go over them first. And that way you're less likely to get any cracking. And that one there. Now you've got to make sure that, so one will be this way, but you'll have to flip this one here. So I'm going to score my lines again, just so they're in the right direction. Like so. So you need to make sure that you've got your slots. So in this case, I've got the 1 at the top, then you've got 1 in the middle, and then 2 at the bottom. But you can also have them this way. Okay, so it's entirely up to you if you want to have more hanging from the top, or otherwise from the bottom. So we've got one facing this way, which I've already inked up. So this one here, and just fold those. I'm going to just place that one down, grab some of my washi tape. So I've got some scrap paper, so I'm going to bring that in first. And what I'll do is just take some of the stickiness off, just to tack this in place. I'll use that piece as well, like so. I then want to stick this piece down over the top because I don't want to get any of my ink or colour into this section. So I'm just sitting it against the score line there. And just hold that down. And then the stencil is going to go over the top. So you could spray the stencil. I'm just going to tack mine in place. I want it pretty much the same as the other one I've just done. Now you can stencil this all one colour if you want. You know, you can use stencils however you want. You might want to use some of your texture pastes. You know, there's lots and lots of fun ways to use them. But I do want to just show you how you can add, you know, different colours there to create something like this. So I've got the distressed oxide colours that I used here. In fact, I didn't, oh yeah, no, I did. I used every single colour, I think. I've got a piece of scrap card just to check that I've got all the colours how I want. So first of all, we'll do the, yeah, let's do the palm, the kind of the bark. So I've used the brushed corduroy. So I'm just going to get that inked up. Take some of the excess off there. And you might find having another piece of scrap to just kind of, just to mask off parts where you don't want that colour to be. So I don't want it to go onto the rocks, but because this is a lighter colour and the rocks are grey, if it did bleed over, you'll be able to go over it again in the darker colour anyway. But I'm just going to add my ink all over there, and then as I get to the top here, I'm just going to mask off this side here. Again, there's going to be quite a dark green along the bottom of the leaves there, so again, if this colour did bleed in a bit, it doesn't matter, but as close to the edges as you can. Let's just come down there a little bit more. Okay, so I've got the lighter colour down, and then I've got these thinner little, these are just old makeup brushes that you can get, and I'm going to use the gathered twig, and that's just going to, I'm just kind of flicking it up from the right hand side there, and this is just going to start to create a little bit of depth, create a shadow, and then again as I get up to the top, it's a little bit darker, like so. And then using the same brush, I'm now using walnut stain, so this is even darker, and I'm just kissing the edges there, and because the distressed oxides take that little bit longer to dry, they blend really nicely. Just a tiny bit, just mask that off there, like so. So I'm happy with that, and then what I'm going to do is just wipe off just some of this, just wipe it into the area that you just coloured, and that will just stop you getting any on your other brushes. Okay, so next we'll do the leaves. So I've used a twisted citron, and I'm going to cover all of them, so just lay that right down over. Then the mauve lawn, and I'm kind of doing the same thing, so that one up, and then I'm just kind of flicking it out, starting from the centre there. I just really want that citron colour on the tips of the leaves there. And then lastly, I've got a small one again. I'm using Rustic Wilderness. Just ink that one up, and this one is going to be right down at the bottom there, and again just flicking it out, and you'll just get a really nice blend of colour. And if you feel you need to go back over, maybe blend in anything a bit more, you can go back in like so. Okay, then I've got the hickory smoke, and this is going to be for the rocks at the very bottom, so I'm just going to bring in my copy paper there just to mask off the waves, because I don't want to get anything in there, and then I can just cover all of the rocks there. And then I've got the black soot, and again just going to keep that there, although I'm not really going to go up to that part, but I'm just flicking this up around the corner like so. Okay, and then lastly is the water. So I've got broken china and chipped sapphire, so ink that one up. Again, I'd wipe some of that off, but I'm just going to lay that down over the top just to stop that colour bleeding, and then I can just lay that down there. Because we've got this copy paper over this piece, that there isn't going onto the card. And then get some of the chipped sapphire. I'm just going to have some at that side and a little bit along this edge here, like so. Okay, now the fun part, the reveal. You can just rinse your stencil under the tap and then just dry it. But now you've got that really lovely little scene that you've just created. So there's the 2 panels now ready to attach to the card. But do make sure if you're using the Oxide to make sure it's completely dry, because if I move that, I don't know if you can see, there's a little bit of shine just here, and that's where it's still wet. So you do want to give it plenty of time. So whilst that is drying, we can take these 2 pieces here, and I'm going to stick this one over the top. So I'm going to use the clear Collall construction glue again, because this is now going to start to strengthen everything. And I will have everything linked in the description box below the video. So I'm just going to leave that one to dry. Next, you want these 2 panels and these 4 strips. And you will have tiny little score lines at the ends here. I just like to roll these over a piercing tool, ruler. You basically just want there to be more of a curve rather than a fold, okay? Because you need the cardstock to be able to slide between this. So I just find it easiest to just sit that fold over there and then just hold it in place with your thumb and just bring that around like so. And you just want to do that with the other 3. Next, you want one of these, and you're going to wrap these around like so. Come down about half an inch, I guess, 1/4 of an inch. About there anyway. So I'm just going to hold that in place, and then I'm just going to add some glue behind the tabs there, and then just wrap that one around first. Because the idea is you don't want to squash that, you want it to keep its bounce. So just open it up and then bring this one around, make sure it's nice and straight, and then bring that one around. And then you can always just put some pressure underneath with, again, a little tool or ruler or anything. Now you'll see we've got this kind of bounce and this gap, and that means that we can, like I said, slide the other pieces behind. I mean, it's going to get a little bit squashed once it, you know, goes in the envelope and stuff, but to get everything in there and to get it all working, this is what you want to do. So again, just add some glue behind the sides there, and then just come down at the other end about the same distance, stick that side, and then wrap it around that one there. Okay, so you've got something like this, and you're just going to repeat that again on the other piece. So that's all stuck down. Now it's up to you whether you stick these down next and then stick these to the back, which is how I've shown in the 6x6 version. So because of that, I'm going to stick these down first this time, just so you can see the 2 ways, but there is no right or wrong. So I'm going to add my glue now to the back of this one, again using that clear construction glue. And you're going to stick this to the back of this panel here. You know it's the right one because this one's got your holes on it. But you're just going to stick that onto the back there, and then do the same with this one here. And it'll be slightly smaller than the panel, so just make sure you've got an equal amount. Like if I bring it up here, I've got an equal amount there and at this end and here, for example. So just get it as centered as possible. So those are now ready. Then we're going to fold it in half, and we're going to add glue along the back of this one here. So just that little tab there, all the way down. And then just lining up the edge with the edge of this piece here, the pattern paper. Make sure it's right up to the edge. And just give that a good burnish, and then just fold it over and burnish again like so, and just repeat it again. So fold it in half. Need to give that a burnish actually. There we go. and add your glue all down here. And then again, just focus on the edge there. Okay, now if you want to stamp anything onto here, now's a good time to do so. So in the stamp sets, so I use the Under the Sea in the 5x7, but you can see you've got, you've got fish here and all other bits and pieces. I'm going to use the Riding the Waves today, but you could stamp, silhouettes of these animals here. Or in the sentiment set, which I'm also going to be using, you've got the school of fish here. So I'm just going to take that one out. And I'm just going to use a black ink for this one. You could use navy if you want. I'm just going to ink that up and pop like so. And then stamp that one there. And then straight away, just stamp again. Just behind and then just behind again. And you just kind of get that depth of field. You just, creating more depth to the card. And it looks like there's even more fish there further back in the background. So that's just a little extra that you can do. But you want to make sure any sentiments or anything that you want to stamp, do that before you start to put it all together. So next we want these ones here, and you're going to fold just the same way as you did those other strips. So just follow that little fold line there. Then you're going to fold this one over, and you want to make sure that the finger pull side is facing the outside here. Okay, so I'm just going to feed that one through here. And then it will hook over the edge. Just bring that up and just let it wrap around. But you'll see there, it will slide nicely up and down that part there. Okay. So flip it then back over and you'll have these two tabs like so. Now you want to get them right to the edge, right up to the very edge there. Pop some glue on the top and then take your frame and you're going to lay down your frame so it lines up with the corners, and you'll see this will line up, it'll be flush with the side there as well. So just make sure everything is straight, which that is. Just let that dry, and then you're going to take this one again, make sure the finger pull is facing the end, feed that one through, and again wrap it around like so. And then if you just test this one here, you should see already that slides really nicely. If you're getting any resistance, maybe you've just pulled it a little bit too tight. And, it's sometimes worthwhile. I've done it before on different cards. But if I just take my glue eraser, if you just run that along the edges, sometimes you might have little bits of cardstock that's just maybe loose, or it may be a little bit rough as well. So just do that along the sides and it will just help. But you'll see there that's sliding really nicely. So just slide that down, okay, and then bring this one down and kind of just fold that over like that for the minute and do the same. So put your tabs right at the very edge here and add your glue over the top there, and then just bring this one right over. You can hold this one up as well. You just want to get them on the very edge of that frame, like on the corners of the frame. I mean, you can move this. Don't worry about this bit moving. As long as you get those tabs on the corner of the frame, and then you'll see when the card goes flat, everything falls into place. And has anybody noticed what I did as I was doing it? I didn't flip the palm tree. So they're both in the same orientation. They were meant to be coming in like this one. So I wanted to do one in the 5x7, one in 6x6. Can you see how they're both angled in towards the whale there? Oh well, I'm only human. It still looks nice. It's just when you close it, the idea is that you had the two palm trees going in. But anyway, we've now got this very nice motion. You can see there how that opens. So just check everything's okay, because there's still time to maybe undo it if you need to, and check where you may have, done it a bit too tight or missed something. Now, I'm also thinking I want to stamp, you should probably do this before actually, but I have been doing them while they're flat, but I want to stamp my sentiment along the top here. But then I'm thinking it'd be quite nice so it isn't just so much white. I'm going to die cut half of the frame in blue, so this looks like the seabed, or maybe in sand. No, I think I'm going to do blue just to break it up a little bit. Okay, so I've just got half of it there, and then I'm just going to just kind of curve it a little bit there. Have this one a little bit higher so they don't look exactly the same. And then I can just stick this one along the bottom there. In fact, I might come down a bit lower so it's in line with that there. So let's have a look. Yeah, so let's just come down. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to take this out, I'm not going to remove it, but I'm going to show you how you can. I'm going to just cut this piece of the panel again and just stencil that little piece, because it will bug me otherwise. But I'm not going to you know, just edit it out and pretend I never done it. I'm just going to show you a way to correct it if you did do the same. Yeah, I think because once that water is flipped, that'll be the right way. Yeah, so again, I'm just going to add my glue. Okay, so whilst that's drying, you've then got your acetate strips. I just bring in this blue cardstock here, so just get that, there we go. You should see a T-bar shape. Okay, and there's very faint little lines that have been embossed. Just fold on those lines, fold them right over like that. Okay, and then you can decide where you want to have these. So like I said, you could have, you know, 4 of them in there. I'm going to put one along the top, so you only have to fold it at one end, and then when you get it through this other end, just undo the folds, and then that will stop it falling out now. But you've got that bar in there for you to hang anything from. And then I think that this one I'm going to do 2, so I'm going to die cut another one, and I'm going to have 2 along the bottom so I can fill it with seaweed and stuff, and then just feed that through that end, and then again just open that one up like so. Okay, so you can see my 2 acetate strips in there. So for this one I'm using the Riding the Waves. So I'm trying to make sure I've got kind of a different critter in each one, so there's just lots of examples. So I think I'm going to do the let's have a little look. I might do the narwhal in this one. I don't think I've got one with the narwhal yet, and he's so cute. There we go, I've already cut loads of mine out. So I like to cut everything. So I've got the Right Under the Sea here, Riding the Waves. I've got all the die cut pieces here. There's separate tutorials showing you how to build your die cuts, and I'll link that one now so you can watch that one. But of course, if you've got both sets, then mix them all. But what you want to do is when you're attaching, the less you attach to this, the more you can add to the strips, and then it will fold easily down. Okay, because when it closes, for example, this top strip here, there's the slot here and there's the slot there. That's kind of the space that you have, just this here to stick to, because you can't have anything on here, otherwise it wouldn't close flat. On the bottom, the front one's slightly smaller because that's closer to the front, so you can see there it's maybe like 1.5 inches. So just when you stick something down, just test that you can close it. And I recommend using some red tape because it's easy to peel off because you're working on acetate. Obviously if it's cardstock, then you know you're going to have to be, you know, sure that you're happy with everything. But see, he can be attached just with his horn there, just along the top. So that means that he will, you know, close up with no problem at all, and he's still very much in the view there. But then I've got room to be able to build up all the other characters as well, because I think I might have a penguin here. It's whimsical, anything goes in my world, so there's no right or wrong, and all the animals can play nicely together. So I'm just going to add a little bit of tape on the back of the horn there, and then just attach him into the middle. Make sure it's secure, and then close that down. Yep, he fits in there perfectly. Okay, so I'll just show you. You've got this one here. I've got the rock with the seaweed along the bottom. I've got on that one, I've got the octopus. We've got seaweed on that one. I've got a turtle on the bottom of that one there. What's on this one here? More seaweed. I'm going to put more on that one actually, so I remember thinking I can do a bit more. So just have some fun with it. Every time you stick something down, go to close it. But I'm then going to build up the front with the other kind of die cuts and bits and pieces here. So we've got the fishing net, and that sits really nice on both sizes of the card. And then you've got the shipwreck, which I've got in the background on quite a few. You've got the treasure chest. You know, you can have that like right in the back there. You can do so much with them. Just have some fun with it. I've got the scuba diver there. He'd look quite good. Could have him in the back there as well. So I'm just going to have some fun with it. Pop some music on. Get that stenciled, and then I'll show you. That's everything stuck down. I think these look lovely on the rocks. So we've got the seal and the penguin. I've used the sentiment swimming by to wish you a happy birthday. So all of them have come together. I've used nearly all of them from the Riding the Waves. And then I have stamped that one. I've just trimmed off the edge, and then I thought I would, like I said, keep it in. Don't need to, because I think it will just help anybody that may do the same thing as me. I'm only human. Like I said, leave a message in the comments if you saw what I was doing, because I can imagine if it was one of my Facebook lives, you would have all been shouting at me saying, Sam, you've done it the wrong way. So then I'm just going to slide it in. This side may be a little bit tighter to slide in and out because I've added this extra layer, but it should be okay. But I'm much happier now that they're facing the same way. I'm just going to give that a minute to dry. So that is sliding. It is a little bit thicker. I can feel a slight difference, but it is still working fine, so I'm not too worried. But it looks wonderful. So you've got all that space on the back there to write your message. Also, I'll just show you, I have been using my accent glaze. So when I made these ones here, this is using the accent glaze. And you can see that it looks like bubbles. Looks really cool when it catches the light. But if you're using white card, then use your Nouveau drops if you've got any, or you know, there's lots of other companies that do these as well. But you can just add a few drops. I mean, to be honest, on this one here, I wouldn't, in fact, I'm not going to do them. I'm just going to do just because this is outside of the water, you know, at the front of the card, they're all kind of outside, and then it's more in the sea here. So I think what I'm going to do is just add just a few blobs. If you do like some different sizes as they go higher, just a little bit smaller. See just some there, and then if I come round, maybe do some just here. You can see just in there. Okay, and they go on cloudy, but they're dry completely clear. But you could also, we could cover the starfish, actually, that'll look quite nice. Like so, and then I might pop some, just a couple of blobs on the eyes there of the fish and just let that dry. The penguin. And we'll do the narwhal as well. So there's quite a lot in there, so I'm going to have to make sure that stays upright for the moment. I'll just rest a couple of things underneath there just to stop it. There we go, that just holds it all in place there. So I'll just show you these two here as well. So you've got this octopus one. That's using the under the water stencil, so just a different way to use it there. And I've got other samples as well. These are just a few. And then you've got this one here. You can see all that detail. Also the ends here, I've extended these. It's just that same piece of cardstock and I've just brought it out a bit further. So if you do want there to be more of a pull, then you can do that, but you'll need a bigger envelope. You just stick them behind. You can see there where I've just stuck it in between the two others there. Okay, and this is all optional as well, these tabs and this piece here. You can go without if you want, but then you won't get that smooth kind of closure. So just have a play around, have fun with them, and enjoy it all. So thank you for watching as always. I will link as much of this product in the description box below as always. If you do make any of the cards with the dies, or if you follow any of my tutorials, then you can share your makes over on the Mixed Up Crafters Facebook group. It's a lovely group. We've got nearly 9,000 subscribers there now, so go over and yeah, you can share your makes. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll be back again soon. Bye.